Balancing is not just needed in two dimensions, but in three or more. A three-way balancing act. As I've been doing the balancing act these days, it occurred to me that there are three main things that I'm trying to balance. One is duties, another is passions, and a third is self-care. It was kind of cool to look at them this way because it gave me a broader perspective. Here's how it looks for me. One of the areas I've been trying to balance for years is finances. I've made a lot of progress there, and for example, I've been doing a lot more private sessions because it's simple income. But my resistance to doing more private sessions before was this conflict with one of my passions, which is designing courses and creating systems to allow my business to grow. So these passions, though they're also related to money, were the kind of thing they're like slow to generate income and they take a lot of time and it's like a project. And so my balance until recently was to favor working on my passion, which is creating courses and things like that. And this used up my time and prevented me from offering more appointment slots to clients, which generates money short term. So this is the kind of balance which I mean of like almost like two different areas that are trying to balance each other. So right now, we're looking at the balance between duty, making enough money to keep my business operating and support an employee, and passion, making courses, organizing my business, doing things that really I'm passionate to do. And the limited resource that I'm dealing with is time. Time is needed to pursue my passion, and time is needed to fulfill my duty to make some money. And these two opposing forces have to kind of wrestle with each other to find something that works. In the end, I have found a balance, at least at this stage, where I'm working enough hours with clients to carry all my business expenses, but I also have time each day for developing courses and creating business systems. So this is a compromise. It's like neither one is like getting my full attention. I would also love to just have clients because I love working with clients. I could just say, make that the only thing. But there's something else in me that really likes to make courses, and I have to compromise that so that I have some time for doing courses, some time for doing clients, some time for making money directly in the here and now, some time for making like systems that will support me and actually create money in the future and make it easier for me in the future. But like I said, this is only two dimensions of compromise. Consider a third interest of mine, which is self care. And this is another full time job. Believe me, I lived in an ashram for years, and that was my full time interest, was just my meditation, sleep, yoga, taking care of myself, and trying to have the best experience I could internally. So I work better when I don't work at night. I work better when I sleep well, when I meditate twice a day, when I exercise, when I eat healthy food. Each of these things, when kept as a priority, though, squeezes my available time for fulfilling my duties and for pursuing my passions. So you can see this three-way wrestling match going on. I want to take care of myself. At the same time, I want to make sure there's food on the table for today. And I also want to do things that are interesting and fascinating for me to develop long term and may not provide money at the immediate present. So let's look at an example of this. I start my day by doing the work as a part of the Inquiry Circle group. This is my ongoing practice group, and I love doing the work there. I created that group for me, and I like to participate in it. So I start my work day taking an hour of my time doing the work of Byron Katie in this group. This is purely self-care, right? I don't make any money from it. It's just like, this is what I do to start my day. It also connects in with everything else I do because I love being like not just talking about the work, but talking from the experience of doing it regularly. So it ties together, but primarily that is self-care for me. And that means that neither do I see clients, nor do I design courses during that time. Neither do I make money in the short term there, nor in the long term. I'm just prioritizing self care during that hour of doing the work. And so self care is really the third main dimension that I try to balance. Each dimension has its value. If I exclusively do my duties without taking time for my passions or my self care, life becomes heavy and burdensome. I've done that. Like just work, 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 only doing what I should do. Oh, I should make more money because I have these responsibilities, da da da. You get burned out, right? It's not fun. On the other hand, I've done the other, where I've exclusively focused on self care without taking time for duties or for following my passions. And what ends up there is I end up in kind of a poverty state, or I get kind of restless. This is kind of interesting because uh, as much as I love sitting in meditation, my mind also loves to be active. I love to do things that fascinate me. I love to learn things. I love to accomplish things. So those are kind of passionate things for me. And if I'm only doing self-care, I can end up feeling like I'm in prison or something like that. So I can become restless. And then the same is true if I exclusively focus on pursuing my passions, like the things that I would love to do someday. I would like to create a Work 102 course. I would like to probably create a book someday. I would like to improve my website and develop some more courses. Those are things that interest me. They're not like, I'm not they're not going to pay the bills today, but there's something that I'm interested in and my heart is interested in. But if I exclusively focus on those, then I can end up getting stuck in long-term projects with little immediate income, and I can again get burned out because I'm not getting enough self-care. So where is the balance? Of course, I don't have a simple answer for you. I'm still just figuring this out myself. But it seems to be that a constant adjusting is necessary. Like as one thing requires more attention, then I shift to that. Then another requires more attention, I shift to that. And kind of keeping the big picture of all three of these need my attention in some form or another on an ongoing basis. So over time, what I'm finding uh, is working for me, and what I'm finding as I'm finding what's working for me, it's seeming to get easier and easier. One of the things I find helpful is to make compromises in each dimension. Like allow myself to have a little less self-care right now because this passion seems to be the one that needs the attention. And then allow myself to kind of rein in the passion a little bit because duty calls and I really need to focus on short term right now. And then rein in that focus on short term and come back to self-care and like just adjusting one by one as the needs keep changing. And so, what gets in the way of being able to compromise are if I have some attachment, if I'm attached to self care, if I'm attached to fulfilling my passion, if I'm attached to doing my duty. Anytime I'm attached, then I am kind of stuck and I'm kind of unable to make compromises. And so where the work of Byron Katie comes in is I can start to question my attachments. I can question anything where I'm attached to my duties, my passions, my self care interests. Who would I be without so much attachment? I would be able to roll with the punches much better. So, luckily, the work of Byron Katie is a great way to loosen attachments and to allow me to roll with the punches more. And the most common formats for identifying stressful thoughts that I've ever found seem to line up with the three areas I want to balance. And I didn't plan this, but it's kind of cool and coincidental. Duties, they tend to be stressful thoughts that start with I should, right? Passions, those tend to be stressful thoughts where I start with I want. And self care, stressful thoughts here often start with I need. So, wants, shoulds, and needs. You'll find those on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. You can use them free form, but here's a way to question the stressful thoughts. For example, I should make more money. Is it true? Question it. I want to design a cool new course. Is it true? Like, let's loosen the attachment on that. I need to get more sleep, right? Is it true? Yes, I want more sleep, but do I need it? Am I absolutely, like, where do I get attached to it? The purpose is not to get rid of self care or get rid of passion or get rid of duty. It's to loosen the attachment to it. That's all. Because when I'm attached, I can't compromise and balance out with the other three, with all three of these different dimensions. And of course, this may be an oversimplification, but for me, this idea is enough to get me thinking. What am I wanting or needing or feeling that I have to do? These are the stressful thoughts that are holding up my attachments. If I question them, and I may find a little less attachment and a little more room for the compromising that's required in this balancing act. What is the balancing act in your life? And what are the thoughts and beliefs that you are holding tightly? I encourage you to question a few of them on each side of what you're trying to balance and see if you can find a little wiggle room, a little freedom, a little less tightness, because that allows you to truly roll with the punches and have a much less stressful experience. So I'll end with a quote from Byron Katie, and this is from her book, A Thousand Names for Joy. You can't change the projected world, but you can change the mind, the projector. Just notice when things are out of balance. You don't have to figure it out. There's a built in signal that will always let you know. It's called stress. Your unquestioned thoughts about life lead you to believe that there's something out of order, and that can never be true. Stress allows you to know when to inquire.